need to set aside a day per week where you divorce yourself from the day-to-day activity of your company. You must have someone inside the company who you trust. God forbid you ever got run over by a number 6 bus. Think of that person who would have to take control, and put that person in control for that day or for those 2 days, and then use those 2 days to go out into the marketplace to find yourself some new business, or at least observe what your competitors are getting up to and what they're doing in order to see how the market is changing. Because if you engross yourself too much in the day-to-day running of the business, you might find that the world is passing you by and you're missing opportunities.
This is what we call working on the business rather than in the business. There should be at least a segment of time, preferably 1 to 2 days at least, where you're working on the business rather than in the business. And this also happens if you're a nonprofit leader, if you're a leader of an agency. Is there time set aside where you're working on the agency rather than in the agency? That's something you need to do. And most of the great leaders have done this. So there's times when they are, Sam Walton, one of the things he used to do, that was the founder of Walton, he used to go around to other competitors and go around their stores and ask questions and check on things. Checking in on competitors, checking on the market. We can even see that just in companies that used to be the biggest, most world ubiquitous companies like Blockbuster. Blockbuster was everywhere. And they even had a chance at Netflix, but because they were too busy in the business and things were going really well, they didn't think about working on the business. What are people's taste changes? Is technology changing? So do we have to shift? And that's what happens if, as leaders, we're always working in it. Let's take a quick break to help ask you to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let's jump right back into it. If I'm really going to be blunt, that's one of the big differences I see from small organizations or startup organizations or small nonprofits is most of the leaders are working in the business day to day, providing the service, going out, raising donations, etc., rather than working on the business. Okay, can I set up a system with people they're reaching out to sponsors, they're writing grants, right? They're bidding on RFPs. Am I able to set up the system so I can walk away? And if we don't set up these systems, that's what leads to burnout. That is what really leads to burnout. And you stay, and then you also lose your people because it's not sustaining yourself. One of the realest things, one of my employees asked me 2-3 years ago, they're like, what happens to us if you die? And first I thought that was selfish. I thought that was a real selfish question, but really that's a question everyone has. What happens to me if the boss dies? And also what happens to you what happens to your business if you get sick? What happens to your organization if you get sick and you can't work? So are we able to work on the business so that there are structures and people in place to do a lot of the work that needs to be done and the business runs well even when we're not currently working on it or in it? And that's the way we need to progress. So obviously, billionaires usually have some really great advice because they know how to scale, or they've scaled businesses and organizations, and they deal a lot with people. This is something that I think you really should think about in terms of making sure you're setting aside a day, at least to 2 days of working on the business. And if you need some help doing that, I'll shout out a really great organization. The Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program is phenomenal about teaching people how to work on the business. That's a great program for doing that. So go check them out. It's a completely free program, mostly in the US, but I do believe they have some satellite locations overseas as well. They'll teach you how to work on your business, how to create structures, how to merge your operations together. And more than that, it's the community they connect you with. If you're wondering, you also can be a nonprofit and apply to that. I don't think you can be a government leader. I don't think they work with government agencies, but if you're the leader of another organization, such as a nonprofit, you can go in it, or if you have a small business, you can go into it. God bless you. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, please leave that in the comments. What did you pick out most from this video? Did you agree with this? Did you disagree with it? Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, God bless.